guys, Hades here. Today I have a really cool video. I have been theory crafting a lot. I spent a lot of time on this, a lot of thought, and I think you guys are going to like this. So, in case you've been living under a rock, Anubis is here. You can check out all the details I put in my last video, but I'm going to go even further and I'm going to legit theory craft things he can do in the future. Now, there's a few things I want to highlight about him, and I'm really going to dive into these and lean into them to make a team composition. Now, of course, he is a defender. He turns his physical defense into attack, so he's going to be doing some damage, but he also inflicts a bleed on all enemies, which is going to be something we want to utilize. Now, who utilizes bleed? Well, it's Tutankhamun. And whenever the opponent is bleeding and he hits them, bleed or tear, he has a 70% chance to recover 2% of his troops. So that means we kind of want to combine them together. Now, who else benefits from bleed? Let's find him. Here he is. Whenever the targets are bleeding or tear, you increase the chance of confusion. Now, I'm keeping these three things in mind with a lot of the teams. I'm hyper active with the synergies, and these are what I think are going to make a huge deal in some of his future teams. Now, again, this is theory crafting. This is something I've done the entire 3 years I've ever played. I've always been ahead of the meta. I've always predicted the meta. I've always made things that made sense. Now, what's with the first team, right? First, I want to do something that isn't quite a main, right? Because I've already said I don't think he's going to actually replace anyone in the strongest march. This is the strongest march in the game, and I want to try and not use these heroes to make the strongest second possible. That's one thing I have in mind, and I'm also trying not to use all the same skills. So keep both of those things in mind when I'm kind of creating this. I do kind of theory craft what it might look like as a main march and as a second. So these are kind of two things to keep in mind. So this first march is in mind that we're not touching anything from the main. So we're going to have Anubis as the cornerstone, and we're going to give him that new skill, attack and defense. We're going to be guarding the Tutankhamun, and we're going to put No Escape. No Escape has actually fallen out of the main team, and you don't actually need it. With Tutan, we're going to have either Demonic or Battle, potentially with Drastic Action and Executioner. There's a few options here. You can go Coercive Power. You can have Fighting Master here. There's a few options. And of course, these are the expensive options. We're looking for like max Theory Whale teams. Nothing budget here. And then of course Loki, you're going to use him a little bit more like a support. You can also go with infinite firepower. You can go with an aura. You know, it's a little flexibility. That's why I'm kind of leaving this open. And then it kind of question what's the last slot here, because Fufei is kind of already in that main team. You could slot Fufei in here and it'd be very nice, and you'd have 5 Shadow. You could slot in Himiko or Tamaris. They both sound quite good. I believe a double backline would be nice, but then you might have a little too much with Tutan, Loki, and Himiko all being damaged. But maybe it becomes more of a burst team, right? And you could lean into the these damage dealing kind of ultimate skills. Of course, this is a very expensive team, but a lot of these things aren't being used in the main. Drastic, attack and defense, and IFP are not being used in the ultimate teams right now, meaning this team could be like proper good. And if you guys don't know how good Tutankhamun is, well, he's always in the arena, and I'm going to show you a report in my throne fighting one of the top players, and he crushes me with his second. I believe he was boosted here, but just to give you some stats, like he kills me 35 seconds, Wrath of Horus, the double damage did 12 million in 35 seconds. It's just nuts. He does a ton of damage. Do not count Tutankhamun out. He is a legit carry. I actually think that this team could beat a lot of the serious mains. So what are the pros? It's high pace, lots of damage. It's a little bit tanky, but not too tanky. This is kind of a question mark. And you do have good mixed damage. You have physical and magical, so I do like it. You could slot in a support there, which would make it even cooler. Cons, no Athena. You're weak to wound. You can't really stack healing, and you're not going to have much sustain. So I don't think this team would kill too many in a row unless you can kill them very, very quickly. And you can lean in with your support. It could even be something like Matilda or something and get with quick action, a high regen speed. Now, let's move into option 2. This is more of a main idea. You put Holy Dragon, Anubis Athena with double tank front line, and then you make Loki the main Loki the main carry, demonic IFP battle stance, and you make it look kind of like this new age team that's been coming around. Kind of like this, right? You have double tank front with healer and Loki as the main damage dealer. He does plenty of damage. You are going to be lacking the damage, and you're only getting your damage from Loki, but this team is never going to die. There's nothing you can really do to break it. I think Anubis might have just enough attack to kind of be better than that Earth version of this team. And I really like option 2. I think this could be a legit main. I think there's a lot of what would I say? There's a lot of options for this to be good. I think it counters a lot of the things. And you can see here, the pros, you can stack healing, turbo tanky, mixed damage. We just got revert of the time. If we keep the 130 time limit, no one's ever going to break this in a minute 30 seconds. Like, there's just no way. You can't break through Athena and Theodora while getting all the Anubis. And I think Anubis buffing up Loki might actually be what he needs. And again, the cons here, only one main damage source, and you might lack a little damage. As I showed this, this team can sometimes lack damage just because there's 3 characters doing nothing, and sometimes Loki's just not quite enough. Moving on to my third option that I kind of crafted. Now this one kind of looks like this option 2, except you make it more shadow based. So you're going to have Anubis Athena in the front and Loki in the back as the main carry. And now you kind of have this last, like who slots last. I put Himiko with some idea skills here. I think Fufei would be actually really good, and so would Theodora. If you went with Fufei, you'd actually have a 5 shadow, which is interesting. I don't think it actually makes too much sense. Tamaris would make some good sense. Fufei makes some good sense. You could have double mage backline and not mess too much with that main march, and keep Holy as the main. And again, a lot of these skills are very expensive, but they keep the identity. You're going to have double mage. You're not going to lack damage the way you do here because you only have Loki, but here you have Loki and Himiko being boosted by Anubis, and you can run healing because you have Athena. And this is a legit option to be like proper good. Like, it has all the benefits. It's high pace, lots of damage, tanky, and I didn't even put that it can heal. It can heal here. In the dark, there we go. It can heal, high pace healing. It could lack a little bit of sustain just because Athena's your only like true sustain, but she lets the auras do the work. So you could have Spring of Life shelter here, and this is going to actually heal you quite a bit, and you can just put vitality and energy shield, right? These things all together plus attack and defense. It's going to be really bulky. I actually think this could potentially be one of the best of the 3 that I kind of created here. I would love to know your guys' theories. Which one of these 3 teams do you like most? Option 1, option 2, or option 3? And leave a comment in the comment section below, and leave a like if you like these kind of videos, because I love making them and I want to provide you guys with entertaining content. So, catch you guys in the next one.